Hey traders, let's take a look at a few trades that we took over this week. So for UJ, price is inside this daily bearish OB, and price came close to this buy side liquidity but did not sweep it. So afterwards it created a 1 hour bearish beverly gap we tested. So the best optimal entry will be here, right, with my stop loss above the swing high. But I was slow in my price positioning, so I entered here, right. So as you can see, price probably swept some sort of liquidity, or I guess you can say it mitigated this 15-minute bearish OB, a bullish OB, before pumping upwards. Yeah, so yeah, it mitigated the opposing bullish beverly gap, I mean bullish order block, okay, before dumping all the way down. So yeah, as it came up, how do we know that the bears are in control is that price didn't push and shoot up any further, right? And in fact, it didn't even bother sweeping this buy side liquidity, right? Well, you can argue that maybe different charts provide different movements of candles. Maybe it has already touched or swept this buy side on other charts, but regardless, right, price has only headed up to this area. So how do we know that it won't continue further up to potentially sweep this buy side? Is this creation of the bearish beverly gap. So after the creation of this bearish beverly gap and the retest of it, we can really enter and look for sells. Okay, so for me, right, whenever price hits to a daily time frame, right, there would be some sort of reversal, right? Short or long term, I don't know, but there will be substantial reversal, so we can look to capitalize on that. So as you can see, this reversal, if you compare it against the higher time frame, right, or the longer time frame horizon, right, you can see that price only headed to this area, and then before FOMC it consolidated, then afterwards it shot upwards, mainly because everyone knows that there's gonna be a 25 BP cut, and that the 100% tariffs that Trump imposed on China, right, it won't really come true. And yeah, it just happens to be the case, right? The Trump indeed didn't impose the 100% tariffs, and as you can see, combining fundamentals with our technical analysis, right, price actually shot upwards in the long term. So it's probably gonna break this daily bearish OB to continue even higher, right? Because the DXY is strengthening. So yeah, and also I think Jerome mentioned that there isn't going to be any rate cuts this year, anymore this year. So all in all, bullish news for DXY, right? So you can see price headed to the daily bullish OB and then shot all the way up. So yeah, so this is, so in fact for this trade, right, as price came up, because of poor price positioning and that the fact that I put my SL here, I got stopped out. Yeah, put my SL at 153.2. Yeah, got stopped out by got stopped up by literally like 0.1 pips. Or 0.3 pips, 0.1 to 0.3 pips. So that's probably like the closest I've gotten. Yeah, so pretty crazy. And price just instantly reversed. So yeah, price positioning is really important here. Alright. Yeah, what a waste. So in my older trading models, I mentioned that after mitigation of the 15-minute bullish OB here, right, all the buy scenarios would have been played out already because there's a double sell side sweep here. So as price pumped up, what the next best scenario that price can play out, right, is that it comes up to sweep this major buy side liquidity and also this local swing high, then it dumps down, creating a bearish fair value gap in the process. So that would be the best case scenario. But in this case here, we don't really have to wait for this bullish leg here which created the 1 hour bearish OB to be fully mitigated. Because if we were to wait for that, right, then our price positioning will be somewhere around here, and then we won't be sure on where to put our stop loss, right, because we don't know how much price will retrace to fill in the imbalance of the fair value gap. So yeah, the best is to do, okay, we don't even have to wait for this bullish leg to be mitigated, right? All we have to do is to wait for a bearish fair value gap to form. So in this case, here we have our 1 hour bullish OB, and we can't really see a 1 hour bearish imbalance, right? But it's fine, because so long as it gets tapped in, right? Okay, there's a sharp bearishness on other time frames, right? And then so we can't mitigate this way, then price will retrace to some extent, right? So this retracement is followed by the 1 hour bullish OB, right? So it will definitely retrace because the 1 hour bullish OB will pump price up by a small extent, okay, and then it will dump down. So I guess this will be the best optimum entry, right? Stop loss around these highs or even above these highs, right? TP here. As you can see, my TP was here, and yeah, price actually came all the way down here. Okay, so it's gonna be 1 hour. Yeah, so as you can see, buy scenario played out. Price came up here, came down, came up again, double sell side sweep. Sorry, double buy side sweep inside of this 1 hour bearish OB. Then it dumped down, only to this extent, because price really wants to hit up, right? Yeah. So yeah. So you see, for this case also, double sell side sweep for buy scenario to completely be played out. Double sell side sweep inside of this 1 hour bearish OB for all the sell scenarios to be played out. So yeah. Yeah, so those trades I took were Monday, and now going to Tuesday. Okay, I saw that price did a kind of like a low time frame buy side sweep, right? And then it came down to mitigate this. And then when it came up, right, this will be our extreme OB. Then I entered for sales. So this is kind of like the perfect scenario, okay? Just that price never tapped into this for our bearish OB. So this entire thing here, this entire perfect low time frame setup was an inducement, right, for price to pump up to mitigate this for our bearish OB, right, to come out to this OB, right? Because yeah, for me, I look more to price action respecting OBs rather than fair value gaps, because that's what works best for me, right? So I guess we could have traded this on a lower time frame, okay, going down. Yeah, this. I guess we can trade this on 1 minute, because that's what I used to do. Let's see whether there's any favorable price action on the 1 minute. So as you can see, boom, major sell side sweep, change of character, retest, sell. Change your character, retest. Just like that, 1:2.3. Yeah. Or even 1:3. Okay. Yeah. So this will be on the 1 minute time frame. So afterwards, I took another Bitcoin trade, and let me see. 16450. Yep. So I took another Bitcoin trade. You can see price headed upwards here, and let me see here. So as you can see on the 4 hours, price sweep the top of the 4 hour bearish OB. Okay, and yeah, after it came down and retested, I just entered for sales. Because the main thing is price side major buy side liquidity here. Then as price headed up, it headed to the extreme zone, right? And yeah, it just headed to the extreme zone. It's literally the same as the previous example on UJ. Yeah, so price mitigated people who placed their stop loss at the 4 hour bearish OB, right? So it shot up to the extreme zone instead. So people who placed at SL inside of this zone got taken out, and it also followed our training plan, right? Price headed to the extreme zone, came down to create a bearish order block. Okay. So yeah, a 15-minute bearish OB. Then retested. So as we retested, I entered for sell positions. Stop loss above here, and just in case we get another sweep, right? So in this case, price did come up here, and then it dumped, right? So I guess it did another sweep here, right? Did another sweep. It did come up with bullishness, so I was pretty worried, but screw it, I just held on to the trade. Okay, because in return afterwards it reversed, creating another 30-minute bearish OB. So yeah, there is a very sharp turn created lor. Then as the sharp turn got retested, it dumped down all the way. So yeah, I held until this point, right? So I guess this was a pretty good trade, because afterwards price reversed. Yeah, I mean we could have hold on, but we could have SL to be, but my lot sizing isn't that big, right? Because for this type of trades, right, when my stop loss is big, I'm pretty conservative, right? So when stop loss is big, you know that lot sizing won't be that big. So we take partial SL to B, right? The difference between taking partial and SL to B and taking full profit here, right? The profit gap won't be that big, because my lot sizing is already very small. So if I were to take partials and SL to B and hold, right, the reward won't be that great because we're increasing our time in the market. So yeah, the risk is higher, and also the profit isn't even worth it because lot sizing is small, as mentioned. So I only held until this point, right? Maybe we could have held longer, right? Because I guess this 1 hour bullish OB has already been mitigated. So price just headed to this swing low, right? This area here, right? Because a double sell-side sweep has already played out. So all the buy scenarios has been played out already. So what's left is the sell scenarios. Yeah. So maybe RR can be like this. Yeah. Instead of like this. But either way, it's a win. For this gold trade, you can see that we tapped into the daily bullish OB, and I was expecting price to hit towards this 4 hour bearish OB. So as mentioned, we are betting on this retracement, because daily bullish for the daily POI, right, it's a pretty strong POI. So yeah, so we're betting on this retracement. After the retracement, whether price actually hits all the way up or not, we are not sure, right? Just concerned with this price action here. So yeah, I guess most of the time price only like to tap. Okay, I can't be that sure, but price normally just tap it once and hit upwards already. So here we can see that on 30-minute I looked for some sort of mitigation of opposing imbalances, which happened to be this 30-minute bearish OB. Okay, so as price headed up, price retested this. So you see, as price retested this, right, I didn't immediately look for buy entries, because you never know whether price will hit downwards even more to sweep even more of this bullish OB, right? Or come down to sweep this sell side liquidity, right? So it came down to this 30-minute bullish OB. Okay, then we have to look for even more confirmations. Going down the lower time frame, we can see that we created a 15-minute bullish fair gap, or this order block. So then here you can see that there's a actual buy side liquidity sweep, right? Double buy side liquidity sweep. So here it indicates to us that all the sell scenarios have been played out, right? This also can indicate a change of character, right? Because there is a body candle close above all these highs, and there's a creation of a 15-minute bearish fair gap. So either ways, both double buy side liquidity sweep and bullish change of character tells us that price is going to head upwards. Yeah. So after retest, okay, so as price head up, then after this retest, then we can look for buys. Yeah. So I won't bet on this retest. I'll look for even more confirmations, right? This change of character, then this retest right here to look for buys. Okay. Yeah, so in my case it was like this. Okay. Where is it? Yeah. In my case it was like this. I waited for a bullish engulfing candle, then I entered, right? If I'm not wrong, yeah. So afterwards price came up to this area. Price action was a bit choppy. Okay. Or maybe my belief systems were choppy. Yeah, anyways, let me see here. Yeah, so I spotted that some other pairs were going in the other direction, right? Pairs that were correlated with gold, right, were moving in another direction. And for DXY, price was at some sort of DXY price was at some sort of resistance, right? No, sorry, DXY was at some sort of support. It was going near support. So as it hits near support, it will bounce up, right? It will be bullish. Then gold will be bearish. So it didn't happen, right? As it headed towards the support, it dumped below the support, which made gold pump. So in this case, price headed upwards here to this area, right? So I was wary of how DXY and other pairs were moving, other pairs that were correlated to gold. So I took my TP here, right, which was, I guess, relatively fast. So this is around 120 pips. Okay, yeah, because I was worried about price action. But eventually this entire setup played out. So I guess the idea of daily bullish OB retracing upwards was valid, right? So I guess I should have known that, because for DXY, its price action is quite erratic. So yeah, its price action on DXY works at times and sometimes it doesn't work. And when it works, right, gold sometimes follows it and sometimes it does not. I mean, most of the time it does, but in this case, I guess the main thing was to focus on the price action on DXY, on gold, rather than on other pairs and on DXY itself. Right, so I guess we could minimally hold on to here. Right. So yeah. And in this case, if price action were to actually hit to this area, right, I still wouldn't get stopped out, right, because my SL is below this low. So in this case, you can see that price actually bothered to come down near this, or maybe you can say it swept this double sell side liquidity to pump all the way up. So yeah, price intentionally wants to take traders out. So even wants to hit towards this direction to take all the traders out before pumping all the way up. Yeah, which is pretty insane. So I guess catching this move was enough already, right? Yeah, because after we catch this move, if my positioning was good, right, I would have S out to B and I would have been taken out, right, which is fine, right, because we still make money, right? So yeah. Alright, so onto this trade on UJ. So on Wednesday, you can see that on the 1 hour, price has did a double buy side liquidity sweep inside of this 1 hour bearish OB, right? And as it headed down to this extreme 1 hour bullish OB being formed, I look for buy entries. So for this, I doubled down, right? I went for 1%, and yeah, I got stopped out. Yeah, so I guess this was a okay trade. It was pretty good. Maybe the only thing to look out for was I guess to be extra safe, look for a change of character, right? So change of character above a significant high. So let us see. Probably a change of character above these highs. Then you create a bullish parabolic gap, right? Then we retest before looking for even more upside. Okay, but in this case, right? In this case, what happened is entered here and price consolidated we consolidated throughout the night. Okay, maybe price action wasn't that favorable at night also, right? So after consolidation, price dumped down, right, when the Asian session opened. Yeah, price dumped down. So maybe another thing to look out for is that actually we are in the daily bullish OB. Okay, so we should have been looking for 1 hour confirmations. Okay, yeah, so yeah, I guess the main thing was, I guess, time and price. Time, I guess. Yeah, the main concern was time, right? Because as you entered here, it's already 11 p.m. Yeah, so I guess main concern was time. Yeah, so this setup was like a A. Okay, it's pretty good, huh? So I'll rank this setup as A, but due to time, yeah, price dumped down when the Asian session opened. So yeah, just unfortunate law. Now let's take a look at a trade that we took on Bitcoin. So price has tapped into the daily bearish parabolic gap. Yeah, so I was looking for some sort of retracement. Yeah, normally I look at order blocks, right? But the chance of price heading up all the way is very slim. And even if you were to do so, then we have to look at low time frame price action to develop, right? Either it sweep, then price still has to head downwards before heading up, right? So yeah, going to the low time frame. Yeah, you can see this price action, price mitigated. Okay, this 1 hour bullish OB came up. Okay, here. Okay, so you can see that price came down, so it fully mitigated this. Then there is still imbalances here, right? So you can see, yeah, there's also this imbalance. So I guess this was the main point of mitigation. After this mitigation with double sell side liquidity sweep, price head upwards, okay, to this 30-minute bearish extreme order block, and yeah, and when it came down, it created a 1 hour bearish OB. Okay, so I waited. I guess maybe I was pretty late to the price action, but I entered here. Okay, and as you can see, price dumped down all the way. So yes, the main thing was for price to mitigate all these imbalances, for price to head upwards towards this extreme OB, came down. Okay, so as it So okay, there's imbalances here. Came down to mitigate them, come out to the extreme OB. So I guess this will be the extreme OB. Okay, so after this extreme OB, it came up to sweep the top of this. So a lot of traders got stopped out. So that's where you can really enter for sell positions. Sorry, we don't really have to wait for this engulfing candle to form or this change of character to happen. Okay. So yeah, guess yeah, we could have entered here already straight away. Okay, cause there is no, besides this OB which got mitigated by this engulfing candle, when we create this 15-minute bearish fair value gap, right, we can enter already, because as you can see there is no sort of retracement upwards anymore, right? If not, price will be very inefficient, right? So yeah, price just hit it all the way down low. Yeah, so we don't really have to be scared, oh, that this 1 hour bullish OB actually is going to hold and pump price up, because it has already been previously mitigated, right? When the fair value gaps are mitigated, right, most likely the order block won't hold already. Okay, so price dump down all the way, and let me take a look. I exited at 111609. Around here. Is it 11609? At 130. Yep, around here. I exited around here. Right, as price swept the bottom, it pumped up. That's where I took profit. Yeah, because I wasn't really monitoring the charts. Yeah, so as it came down, yeah, I didn't have the chance to quickly take profit here, so it shot back up here. So yeah, that was a waste. Yeah, and now that I'm doing the analysis, I just realized, because I was probably starting or something. Yeah. Now let's take another look at the trade on gold. So on Thursday, this happened. I took buys because there was a creation of a 4-hour bullish fair value gap overlapping a 4-hour bearish OB. Okay, so went to the low time frame on the 15-minute, saw that there's a creation of a 15-minute bullish fair value gap, and then when there's a retest, I entered for longs. Okay, but price continued its bearish action. Its bearish price action mainly because on the 4-hour time frame, or in fact on the daily time frame, you can see that price is simply just reacting off the daily bearish fair value gap. Okay, to hit downwards. Yeah. So I guess the only way we could have prevented this is if we wait for price to retrace towards the 4-hour bullish order block instead of the fair value gap. And yeah, is there anything to look out for? I guess we could have been more patient for price to head towards this POI, and it's this 15-minute bullish OB, right? We should wait for it to come down here first, then see how price will react, right? Because for me, I just looked at these 15-minute bullish fair value gap, then I entered. So I should look for way more confirmations, right? More secondary confirmations, right? So simply just looking for one confirmation, the 15-minute bullish fair value gap isn't even enough, right? This is just a primary, right? We have to see how price action develops and how we will take out traders before entering for a position, right? So yeah, so for instance, let's say price head down towards this bullish OB on the 15-minute, we should see some sort of mitigation of opposing imbalance, then a change of character, then a retest into a newly formed bullish order block before pumping up, something like this. So yeah, we can't instantly enter on trade just because one bullish confirmation has appeared, right? There's a pretty famous guy on Instagram, and he mentioned that since everyone knows there's a 25 BP cut and that Trump will pull back or take back his words on tariffs, right? The XY pump, and so because there can't always be too much bias, instead price will dump and you'll be like buy the rumor, sell the news. So instead, during the news event, the XY will dump instead. Yeah, but lucky I didn't listen to his advice because as you can see, on Thursday, Thursday 2 a.m. price just pumped up, right? It's pumped all the way up and it's still continuing upwards, and I'm guessing that it's gonna break past this daily bearish OB. Yeah, because it's been tested. Yeah, it's been tested before. So price is just coming down to retrace, and you'll probably head up even more. So I think that the dollar is strengthening in the long term. Yeah, because Jerome also said that there wouldn't really be any more rate cuts this year. So yeah, I guess it's gonna continue its upwards movement till the end of the year. Onto the last and final trade that I took for this week. So all my other trades for this week, right, has brought my account to break even, and this brought my account up to half the challenge already. So here you can see that on the 4-hour time frame, it's pretty technical, right? You can see that we tap into the daily bearish OB, created a newly formed 4-hour bearish OB. So this will be our extreme zone. As price retraced, right, it didn't create any sort of bullish retracement. So price dumped all the way down. Okay, so you can see initially price came down, right? So you can say that it's a mitigation of the there's a double sweep of this sell-side liquidity. So I guess this could be a point of interest that we were trying to take out. Okay, and afterwards, after taking out this POI, okay, price headed upwards. So price would be free to dump all the way down because it's taken out this point of interest, or you can say even this higher time frame point of interest, right? So all the sell scenarios has been taken out, right? Sorry, all the buy scenarios have been played out already, because here after the liquidity sweep, price headed up, and that's where the true dump happens, right? Aligning our fundamental with our technical bias, right? Because just now as mentioned, the XY is bullish, so price action is bearish. Okay, so I took this trade after news. Okay, after news has unfolded, right, which tells us that Euro USD would be bearish. Right, so going to the lower time frame, okay, waited for the retracement. So as said just now, right, you can't just straight away enter, right? Because as you can see, this is the 1 hour bullish order block, right? So price could fairly well come down and come up again to maybe sweep this top, right, to take out even more traders before coming down, and that could happen. So we have to look for even more confirmations, right? Then going down to the 30-minute, we have this fresh 30-minute bearish extreme OB. Okay, so as price head down, right, to mitigate this imbalance, right, it pumped up, right? As you can see, it came down and bumped up, right? Came down to sweep this liquidity, right, which mitigates it, right? Mitigates the 1 hour bullish OB, and then comes up to this extreme zone, right? So at this point, right, we shouldn't expect price to head upwards, because this zone is like the new supply zone, which must hold price down. If it breaks above, then we could sweep this to continue lower or higher, right? So it doesn't matter whether it continues lower or higher. When it goes up, it could take out our stop loss, then we'll lose, right? So we must have this hold. So going to the 15 minutes. Now we go to the low time frame. Right. here you can see that there is no imbalances. You can see this leg up here, no imbalances, right? Even on higher time frame, there's no imbalance. So lower time frame, no imbalance also. Going down, lower time frame. Okay, so you can see as price headed down, right? As price headed down, and yeah, there was a creation of a 5-minute bearish 5 gap, right? I entered here, right? Knowing very well that yes, even though we don't have a bearish 5 gap being formed, there's also no bullish 5 gap being formed also, right? During the retracement, which is important. Okay, and here there are 5-minute bullish 5 gaps here. Okay, that's one, but there's also another one being created. So this will be a bearish upturn. Yep, so I entered here, stop loss simply here, because I know price is not gonna head up any further. Right? Yeah. So I put a 0.5% risk here, because in order for me to put a 1% risk, right, I have to see a sell side sweep here. If there's a sweep, then I'll put the full 1%. Right? If it's my trading model doesn't follow fully, I will take half the risk. Yeah. If not, if I don't take any, then I will miss out. I will miss out on this trade. Right. So yeah, price action was perfect. I waited for it, and it dumped all the way down to this point. Yeah. And it just happens that I turned on my phone and I saw this at this timing. So I decided, oh, why not? We should quickly take partials. Take profit. Take all the profits off. And indeed, price pumped up. Right, price retraced. So yeah, because this zone is pretty big, and thankfully we have already hit some sort of point of interest here. So price will retrace a bit before deciding. Yeah, price will retrace to collect more liquidity before deciding whether it wants to pump down or up. But most likely it's gonna go down, because as mentioned, the XY is gonna be pretty bullish for the rest of the year.